surrounded by wrestling fans. Not sports entertainment fans. Professional wrestling fans! Professional wrestling! This is it! This is us standing up! This is
the Wrestling Matters Podcast, a podcast that stands up for professional wrestling. Why? Because wrestling matters. So join the revolution, because the revolution is now. Hey, start the show.
World, look into my eyes. When you see me on a show, when you see these fans, you know you've got the best in the damn world. We are ICW and you're gonna know our name. Here we fucking go!
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change!
Professional wrestling! This is it! This is us standing up!
Yes! 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 Yes!
That's 13-14!
Dina, I am the best in the world.
Cause that's the bottom line. Cause Stone Cold said so.
Hello everyone and welcome to another installment of the ICW podcast. ICW Mafia, wrestling fans, and whoever else is listening to this podcast, welcome one and all. I'm going to be reviewing Flawless Victory, which took place in Glasgow on May the 3rd. Courtesy of ICW On Demand. Now, it's a lot to get through. This match was a 3.5-hour show, so there's a lot to get through, so I might have to break things down a little bit just to try and keep up with things. Because like I said, there was a lot to get through. Big show. Let's see where this goes, and let's see where we go with this podcast. Like I said, it might be done in a different way to the previous episodes, so you might have to think about that. Anyway, all this, sit back, relax, and enjoy. To kick off the show, Red Lightning comes out and bars Damo from the building and says there will be no World Heavyweight Championship match. That brings out the world champion Drew Galloway, tells the GM to shut the fuck up, says he is here to defend his world title and says he is having a match no matter what Red thinks and challenges anyone to a match. Gives anyone the opportunity to come out and accept. That brings out Mikey Whiplash and said he don't need any shit catchphrase that WWE have used and has 15 years experience. It got heated. Red Lightning makes the match. That was for later on. Joe Hendry is backstage, says he's gonna beat Jack Jester and get a world title shot. Find out what happens that later on. To kick off the matches of the show, BT Gunn goes one-on-one with Grado. Now, lock up, BT takes a swing, misses, did it again, third just puts a beat down on him. Then Grado wrestles BT with a headlock. BT looks for a German, no working. Grado hits a leg lock takedown, then gets a near fall. Grado goes for a Shadream but gets chopped by BT. Grado hits rolling slice on BT outside off the apron. Grado climbs the guardrail and jumps right into a right hand from BT. Advantage BT. BT ends up getting a near fall. Grado manages to hit Air Shadream, goes for a wee boot, takes a super kick, then hits an F5 and gets a near fall. BT cuts off. Wow, it's not easy to say. BT cuts off Grado, then manages to hit a super kick, then a front suplex, then hits a super kick and gets a near fall. Grado then hits a stunner, hits a rolling slice, gets a near fall, goes for the wee boot, misses. BT hits a front facebuster and beats Grado to get the victory. So chalk one up for the New Age Click. Lionheart backstage says every match is a must to win and says it should be a hell of a match and says fans, he does not care what the fans think and say. What they do is all their call. So whatever they do is up to them. Speaking of Lionheart goes one-on-one with Darkseid. Double leg takedown by Darkseid. Darkseid dives on Lionheart outside. Lionheart kicks his head off. Lionheart taking the fight to Darkseid outside. Darkseid fighting back. They are on the stage. Lionheart backdrops Darkseid in the crowd. Lionheart hits rock bottom back in the ring and gets a near fall. Lionheart hits two kicks. Darkseid once more, counters a third kick, suplexes him and gets a near fall. Reverse kick, then a super kick gets Lionheart a near fall. Darkseid stops a frog splash, hits the GTX, which is a GTS, but kicks him in the face and gets a near fall, which is a GTX, but instead of hitting the knee, he kicks him in the face. Darkseid goes for Styles Clash, gets countered. Lionheart hits a power driver, misses a frog splash. Darkseid grabs a chain, takes a swing at Lionheart, misses. Lionheart goes for rock bottom. Darkseid lights the chain, uses it on Lionheart, then locks a chokehold on him. Darkseid wins because Lionheart tapped out. Billy Kirkwood tries to talk to Darkseid after the match, but Darkseid just walks away. Damo then enters the ringside area, takes out security, then takes out Lionheart, hits a Damo bomb, then hits it again and says he goes where he wants, when he wants, and sends a message to ICW that he will not be stopped. 2 interviewers backstage, Veronica letting the new girl know what's going on and everything. Apparently ICW have got 2 interviewers backstage now. Hendry comes in to address them with a song, the strangest thing I've ever seen in ICW since I started watching this, and then Stone Cold Bobby Johnson is next to him and he spills mayo on him. Joe Hendry, that is. I don't know, he just grabs this mayo thing and just spills it on his t-shirt and everything, and I don't know. The craziest thing I've ever seen. And with that being said, ladies and gents, I'm going to cut it there. I'm going to go to a quick break, but I'll be back right after this with part 2. So stay tuned for new episodes of the Wrestling Matters podcast, as well as other great professional wrestling related content. Be sure to check out the Wrestling Matters channel on YouTube at www.youtube.com/AJW Wrestling Matters. You'll get weekly episodes of the podcast, and you'll get other great wrestling content as well. Be sure to check it out, subscribe, like, and do all that good stuff. The Wrestling Matters channel, where wrestling matters, on YouTube.
Be sure to listen to the Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast.
What?
Every Sunday with Kenny Killer and the Galdem Sugar Shugs.
Yes! Yes!
With all the news, views, and laughter that you want.
They like jet airplanes. Woo! They like long limousines.
Every Sunday, the Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast on Podomatic, iTunes, and YouTube.
So why don't you choke on that, slap nut?
If you're a fan of the Wrestling Matters podcast, be sure to check out the Wrestling Matters podcast Twitter page at WM Podcast for news, reviews, and upcoming episodes, and you will be let know on various other topics as well in the world of professional wrestling. So if you like the Wrestling Matters podcast, be sure to follow the Wrestling Matters podcast on Twitter at WM Podcast. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to part 2 of this ICW podcast. The reason why I went to a break there was just to, rest myself a little bit, because we've got a lot to get through in this episode. Let me tell you, this may be the big episode that we have done. Because like I said, this show lasted 3 hours. Or well over 3 hours. 3.5 hours to be precise. So, we'll kick off with Jack Jester one-on-one with Joe Hendry. For this one, feeling out process, looking for control. Joe slaps Jack, and then Jack slaps him back and wrestles Joe in headlock control. Good wrestling. Jack gets a near fall. Joe misses a drop kick. Jack gets a near fall. Joe outsmarts Jack, hits a standing suplex. Jack getting near fall off a shoulder block. Baseball slides Joe. Jack taking the fight to Joe outside, hits an Undertaker like leg drop. Advantage Jack. Joe hits a fall away slam, gets a near fall. Jack cuts off Joe, hits a superplex, gets a near fall. Joe counter dropped to the dungeon with a DDT and gets a near fall. Jack counters trip around the world and hits the tombstone drop to the dungeon for the win. Chunking up, I think, ladies and gentlemen, that was his first win back in ICW rather. WWE, what am I doing? But that was Jack Jester's first win back in ICW. First singles win, in fact. If I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was. So he's back on the winning trail. Chris Renfrew one-on-one, and this is what was the main event of the first hour. Chris Renfrew one-on-one with Dickie Divers. Oh, the main event of the first half, rather. I was going to say it was a 3-hour show. Now, chair fight to start. Chris throws Dickie outside, then throws a chair at him. Fight outside, Chris takes a drop toe hold. Dickie, one step ahead of him, uses a chair. Chris kicks chair in Diver's face, gets a near fall. Divers gets stunned after going face first into the chair. Chris gets a near fall, barbed wire chair into play. Divers goes to use it, bounces back into Divers. Chris back suplexes Divers into the barbed wire chair and gets a near fall. Divers fighting back. Divers uses the wired chair to his advantage. A slingshot senton into the barbed wire chair. Divers gets a near fall. Divers brings a chair that has thumbtacks on it, and one of the crowd members did not believe it was until he showed them it. Oh, thumbtacks. Counter for counter wrestling ends with Divers getting DDT'd into the thumbtack chair. Chris gets a near fall, face first into the chair. Chris brings chairs into play, as if there weren't any chairs in the begin with the barbed wire and the thumbtacks. Divers hits an impaler, driving Chris face first into the chair and gets the win. Excuse me. Divers calls the impaler the defacer, and it damn sure defaced Chris Renfrew. Now, before the interval became, Liam Thompson came out. Crowd get on his case. Simon was laughing at ringside from what I heard, calls him out. Liam, that is, calls Simon out. And then Liam attacks Simon and hell breaks loose. For what reason, I don't know. They go to an interval. Red Lightning is backstage with Kenny, and he tells Kenny and Noam Dar to get ready. What for, I don't know. More on that later. Joe, backstage, is a little disappointed that he's lost to Jack Jester. Brings a medal out that earned him second place in the amateur wrestling, and says something has to change. Kid Fight walks out, calls him a Poundland Kurt Angle. Oh boy. Kid writes on the medal. Joe stops him, and then Shard takes his leg out from behind, and the 55 put a beat down on Joe. James R. Kennedy says it's simply business, and says they have a contract to fulfill. Backstage during the break, Red Lightning tries to force Simon back out to do his job, and Simon denied. Red was pissed. The heartless dick. The guy gets attacked, and all you can do is think about getting him out there. For Pete's sake. Anyway, now to the highlight. One of the highlights of the show, which began the second hour, or the second half rather. Chris says they will answer Wolfgang's situation on why he joined the NAK, gives the Bucky Boys a history lesson, and says no one NAK member can beat the Bucky Boys, and challenges Bucky Boys to a 2-on-1 handicap match, which is the Bucky Boys versus Wolfgang. Wee Man mocks the NAK and introduces the Buckies like he always does, and the match starts. Wolfgang goes for Bucky's double team with the numbers game. Mistake, Wolfgang hits slam dunk. Davey Boy in trouble, Wolfgang in control. Davey hits a spine buster and gets a near fall. Stevie Boy seems to be in a lot of trouble on the outside, so we think. Wolfgang uses his power, hits a power slam and gets a near fall. Wee Man looks to get involved, slaps Wolfgang, then gets flattened. Davey takes down Wolfgang. Now here's the highlighting part. Stevie Boy manages to get up on the apron until a masked female, and it was a female, comes out of nowhere. Takes out Stevie, hits a top rope Hurricane Rana, and reveals herself to be Kaylee Ray. That's right, Kaylee Ray. NAK come out as Kaylee's walking back up the aisle, and Kaylee Ray reveals herself to be a member of the New Age clique because she takes off a jacket that she was in, reveals it, and reveals a Go Fuck Yourself t-shirt. Stevie Boy is in disbelief, turns around, and for some reason hits the Glasgow Destroyer on Davey Boy. Gets up, forces the referee to cover, Wolfgang gets the win, and NAK go from 3 to 5. That's right, Stevie Boy and Kaylee Ray join the New Age clique. Wolfgang then brings in a table and puts Stevie Boy through it. Fans want to dancers, NAK changed the questions. And I will end that there for part 2. And when I come back, I'll have the final part of what happens at this big show. So stay tuned. After this, I'll have part 3. See you in a bit.
I see love! I see love!
sure to tune in every single Tuesday now for the Wrestling Madness Podcast Extra, where I'll be hosting a podcast on one promotion and one promotion only. ICW, Insane Championship Wrestling, the hottest promotion in Scotland. Well, I'll be reviewing their shows.
Oh my God!
Talking ICW.
That's 1314!
And who knows, maybe getting some guests on. So be sure to tune in to the Wrestling Madness Podcast Extra ICW podcast, Insane Championship Wrestling, every Tuesday on YouTube, Podomatic, Stitcher Radio, downloaded free at iTunes, Mixcloud, and SoundCloud. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans.
World, look into my eyes. When you see me on a show, when you see these fans, you know you've got the best in the damn world. We are ICW and you're gonna know our name. Here we fucking go!
They're ready to cover a hit roll. Who the hell's this? There's someone at ringside just take. Oh! Stevie Boy went for the tag. Stevie went for the tag.
What? Did he get tripped?
Yeah, he got tripped by this hooded figure, whoever the hell this is. Who is that?
Who that ninja?
Wow!
He just hit a hurricane.
What? Kaylee Ray! With a hurricane on Davey Boy. Oh no! A low blow right to the gut. Stevie's came running in. That's his girlfriend, Sean.
Are you sure?
Oh, look at this! Not only in the wrestling world, they're shattering real life as well, Sean. Look at the smile on Wolfgang's face. What?
Stevie Boy! What on earth are you doing? No!
Stevie Boy's trying the edge click! Stevie Boy has tried the new edge click!
Wolfgang going for the cover! I forgot this was even a contest!
We have seen the end! We have seen the end! We have seen the end! We have seen the end of the Bucky Boys here
We
tonight!
wanted answers, and we just changed the questions.
And
Anarchy till death.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the final part of this ICW episode. Now, ICW podcast episode, Flawless Victory. Like I said, guys, hope you've enjoyed it. The format's been a little different than it usually is because, like I said, it was a big show to get through. So, hope you've enjoyed it. Be sure to check this show out also on demand. And as you heard it there, that was a little audio from what happened on the actual show. That little thing I said about the new Edge clip with Stevie Boy joining and Kaylee Ray, you heard the audio there. Be sure to check that out on YouTube if you haven't seen it. If you want to see the full show and what happens and the aftermath after it, I suggest you go on to On Demand, like I say. Now, to kick off part 3, GM says he needed to protect people because Jackie Polo, he comes out and calls Jackie Polo. GM comes out and says he's gonna ring announce for the rest of the show. Great. And then calls out Polo. Polo comes out and introduces his team. GM says he needed to protect people that matter. Asks question tagged on the tag titles. Jackie, who defended the tag titles last time around. Jackie says Mark and Joe Coffey, and then the crowd start chanting Joe and sing Joe's anthem. GM says he wants a tag title match tonight. You can't beat a record sitting on your ass and demands a tag team title match tonight. And says Jackie has the night off and says he will strip Polo Promotions of the tag belt if Mark does not defend them. And say Polo Promotions gets involved, Jackie will be out of ICW for 12 months. They agree. Reluctantly, but they agree. Now, GM ends up introducing Kid Fight and Martin Kirby of the 55, which leads to this match. Mark Coffey defending the tag titles against Kid Fight and Mark Kirby of the 55. Kirby starts for the 55. Great train wrestling to start. Mark, using his power and speed, gets the advantage. The 55 regroup. Distractions allow the 55 to take control despite Mark fight back. 55 start to pick apart Mark Coffey. Mark fights back. Kirby hits a heel kick, gets a near fall. Tag team wrestling to the 55. Advantage numbers game with them. Shah gets involved. Kid fight gets a near fall. Mark fights back. Numbers game proving too much. Deadlift, belly to back suplex by Mark Coffey. Mark and Kirby go toe to toe in the middle of the ring. Then Mark hits a slam and gets a near fall. Mark using Kid to take out Kirby, hits Kirby with a deadlift or dead wish, and then a deadlift suplex. Kid stops the fall. Kid fight, that is. Beat down on Mark by 55. Music plays and out comes Joe Coffey, Mark's brother, takes out Shah Samuels, then James R. Kennedy. Mark dives on Fight and Kirby in the ring after Joe distracts them. Joe hits a discus clothesline. Then Mark hits his forearm, the running forearm, dead wish, I believe it is, and gets the win. Mark retains the tag titles. Shah comes in and attacks the Coffey brothers from behind. The 55 beat down the Coffey brothers. Polo Promotion come out to save the day. Guarantee this ain't over between Polo Promotions and the Coffey brothers. Now, after all that melee, Jackie and DCT are still in the ring. Jackie gives the ring to DCT and leaves the ring, allowing DCT to attempt to propose to Viper. However, Big Damo comes out and spoils the party. Takes out DCT and Viper. Puts Viper and DCT in a position which I'm sure they'll be very familiar with. 69, except Viper was underneath and DCT was on top. You worked that out. Call it the tombstone position. I can't believe I just said that. And then Damo hits the running senton. Squashy, driving, he hits the running senton on DCT, but basically squashing Viper underneath. The GM comes out and gets in Damo's face. Damo pushes somewhat. Damo looks to attack GM, but Red acts like a shithouse, and believe me, he did. Begs for his life and says he will phone the cops. Damo gets what he wants. GM's still begging for his life, says he can commentate and replace Sean, who's with Billy Kirkwood. Crowd chant shite bag, and then the GM proceeds to call out Kenny King and Noam Dar, and decides to make a match between them, after them two apparently went over his head and started going to Mark Dallas. He proceeds to make a match with them for the 0G #1 contendership. So, chain wrestling to start off. Dar locks in legs and arm locks, really stretching Kenny. Dar controlling Kenny very slow early on. Kenny hits the Quack Buster, goes for the cover. Dar uses the ropes. Kenny gets off. Did not want what happened last time, which basically was they got the cover and did not see Dar's foot on the rope. Kenny gets dumped on the ropes. Dar clotheslines him, then dives on him outside after kicking him to keep him on the floor and gets a near fall out of it. Dar gets Kenny's board but thinks better of using it. Dar hits a Fisherman Buster and gets a near fall. Dar locks in the STF. Kenny breaks the hold. Roll up, gets a near fall. Lots of kicking low, which got the referee involved too because he took a brunt of it too. Dar kicks board in the face of Kenny and gets a near fall. Sets up the board. Kenny kicks Dar, gets a near fall. Kenny locks in the figure 4 leg lock. Williams has the lightsaber. No, Dar has a lightsaber. Both men go toe to toe in the ring. Kenny had the board. Lots of counters back and forth, end-to-end stuff. And then the GM comes out and says none of them are worthy calls for a #1 contender to the 0G championship and calls the match off. Kenny wants to hit him but doesn't, and the abuse and power will continue. And you wonder why he is taken off the Fear and Loathing show. That's all I'm saying. Jackie backstage talks about his cheek injury and says he will be in full effect very, very soon. And the Polo Promotions will be 100% very, very soon too. And then that leads to the main event of the evening, the World Championship match involving Drew Galloway and Mikey Whiplash. Feeling out process to start, some great train wrestling leads to a stalemate. Quick pinfalls, things start to get heated as Drew slaps Mikey, and I mean slaps him. Fight outside, Mikey takes it to the champion, they go in the crowd. Drew fights back, drops Mikey across the table at the booth. They got to the bar area as well. Drew hits him with a bin behind the bar. Fighting back and forth at the bar area, Drew slams Whiplash off the wall, clotheslines off the stairs too. Clotheslines Whiplash off the stairs as he jumps off. Drew hits a tilt-the-world slam on apron back at the ringside area. Drew hits Mikey with a table but hits the cameraman instead. Mikey sets up the table. Drew gets back the advantage. Mikey drops Drew on top rope, then drops Mikey on the top rope. That's Drew topping Mikey. Eye for an eye, I guess. Toe-to-toe in the middle of the ring. Drew kicks Mikey. Drew hits the Celtic Cross and gets a near fall. Blue Thunder Powerbomb by Mikey gets him a near fall. Single leg dropkick gets Drew a near fall. Drew wakes the eyes as Mikey was on the top rope, and Drew throws Mikey off the top rope, through the table, onto the floor. And then Drew gets a near fall. Champ takes the fight to Mikey, stomps on his head even as well, which didn't go down too well, somewhat. Drew begs him to stay down. Mikey says, fuck you, sticks 2 fingers in his face while saying it. Drew kicks him in the face, then hits the future shock and gets the win, and retains the ICW Championship. Damo comes to the ring to check on Mikey, then gets in the ring to confront the champion, pushes his buttons. Damo says he will not duck him. Damo may be going too far, trying to get something, stands on the belt. Galloway not answering but laughing, and then a brawl breaks out. They take out security. Everyone tries to break them up. Does not work. They go toe to toe in the ring. Then Damo kicks Drew very low between the legs, grabs his belt, hits Drew with it, and then stands over him and raises the belt in the air. Will Damo be the new champion in July when these two meet at Shook's house party? Meanwhile, backstage, Mikey Whiplash is recovering, and then the Click jump him, the NAK. They take Mikey to the toilet and put a beat down on him. NAK till death. Like I say, big show, thoroughly enjoyed it as always, and I'll give it a 5 out of 5. Massive show, and I'm looking forward to July when Shook's house party comes on. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, hope you've enjoyed the ICW podcast. Make sure you check out episode 62 of the Wrestling Matters podcast as well, and make sure you check out my announcement as well for next week. And with that being said, my name is Anthony Walker. Hope you've enjoyed this ICW podcast. ICW, where wrestling matters, £3.74 on demand. Get it if you haven't got it, and until next time, peace! Be sure to tune in every single Tuesday now for the Wrestling Matters Podcast Extra, where I'll be hosting a podcast on one promotion and one promotion only. ICW, Insane Championship Wrestling, the hottest promotion in Scotland, where I'll be reviewing their shows.
Oh my God!
Talking ICW.
That's 13-14!
And who knows, maybe getting some guests on. So be sure to tune in to the Wrestling Matters Podcast Extra ICW podcast, Insane Championship Wrestling, every Tuesday on YouTube, Podomatic, Stitcher Radio, downloaded free at iTunes, Mixcloud, and SoundCloud. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans.
World, look into my eyes. When you see me on a show, when you see these fans, you know you've got the best in the damn world. We are ICW, and you're gonna know our name.